Hi there, everyone. Stickus here.
Zeellott here.
And you're watching our analysis of our last match, which was the, what do we call it again? The new and same versus the old and different. Yes. And sort of comparing and contrasting what we feel, at least in here at least anyway, are ships that we feel are in the same class of ship, but on different factions.
Yeah. So I mean, the reason why we chose the Jumpmaster and the Y-Wing, or the YT-2400, is they're very similar builds, sort of. Now, I say that because when you look at the actual upgrade slots, it's quite a bit different.
Well, let's compare. We'll look.
Okay.
So the Wild Space Fringer, for example, here's your base, your base YT-2400. The Wild Space Fringer, the pilot skill 2, with a 2 turret primary, 2 defense, 5 shield, 5 hull. He has focus, target lock, and barrel roll on his action bar. He has a cannon, a torpedo, and a crew slot, and he's worth 30 points to start.
Okay, so let's compare that with the cheapest Jumpmaster, and that's the contracted Scout.
Yeah, here we go. So there's the Wild Space Fringer. Here is the
contracted
Scout. So go ahead and give us the lowdown on its bar.
Okay. Well, I mean, it also has a focus, a target lock, and a barrel roll.
Yep.
For its action bar, so very like the same.
Yep.
Right. And barrel roll is quite noticeable too because it's a large ship. There's not very many large ships
barrel
that can
roll
actually
on a large ship
that actually have it natively on their bar. These two?
Their action bar almost the same.
These might be the only two ships, large ships that have barrel roll.
Technically, what you're getting here is you're sacrificing 1 shield.
Is there any other large ships out there that have barrel roll?
Holy cow! Okay, what's the economy on this? All right, so people have wondered about power creep. In games, power creep is where in a game they release a set at a certain power level, and then the next set amps that up just a little, and the next set amps it a little, and a little, and a little. And you can see in Wave 8, there's been some serious power creep over some of the previous waves. I'm gonna hold. Oops. I can't get it lower.
Okay.
Anyway, almost. Okay, you can sort of see what I'm talking about here. So, similar ships, almost the same across the spec list. 1 less shield. Higher pilot skill at the base. So you're giving up 1 shield for increased pilot skill, but the addition of an Agromech slot, a swap out of your torpedo slot, of your missile slot for 2 torpedo slots, an illicit slot, and an elite pilot talent slot. That all for 25 points. For 5 points cheaper than this poor little Wild Space Fringer. He sucks. He genuinely sucks right now in the meta. He's I really tried hard to make a useful build of him. Honestly, I probably flew it like a dog's breakfast. Let me know in the comments.
Yeah.
But you can see, even just when you're comparing the stat blocks of the 2 cards, it's way more economical to use the contracted skill.
Okay, so that's just the card itself. Now let's talk about the dials.
Oh my god.
Now let's talk about the dials. Okay, so this ship only has 2 red maneuvers.
Yep.
One of them is a K turn 4, so a large ship that can do a K turn 4, which is great.
Yep.
Any K turn is great.
So again,
but,
also K turn 4 on the YT.
Okay. It gets Sogerns. It has a 290 that's a red.
That honestly.
And a 2.
Or
two bank that is red to the right, and the left is a white. A white.
Getting action off it.
So a little bit crazy there in dial.
Now, how many green moves do you have?
Okay,
1, 2, 3,
so
4. I have 4.
So 1 straight.
1 straight. One bank right and left.
One bank left and 190 left is also green.
Wow.
190 left is green.
So there you go.
Okay.
It's 1, 2, 3.
And then twos.
I've got 3 on 1. Okay. And then twos, I got a forward 2.
Forward 2 green.
Yeah.
Left 2 green.
Again, that's when my dial fails a bit.
This is a better
1.
dial.
I only have a forward 2.
And a 290 green.
And again, I have the same, but it's white.
Okay, so they can do the same maneuver, but this one has green ones on it. Now
you're
going to
paying
the
for
other
that,
side.
though, to
The
get-
other side are whites.
Yeah.
So not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's fine. So same as mine.
Same.
Your 3
The 3.
S turn.
Well, there is no 3S. There's
It's just your 2.
there's
Your 2
two-
S turn is a red.
yeah,
So you have one more red maneuver, but a maneuver I can't do.
and yeah. Well, yeah, a maneuver you can't do, which all of a sudden that changes the dial, right?
Yep.
You're now not necessarily able to match the
And then
maneuvers.
your forward 3. And
Forward 3,
your
bank 3.
isn't.
They're both white.
And you don't have a turn 3 though.
No turn 3.
See, the YT-2400 does have a turn 3.
Okay. So it's a trade-off on the S turn.
So the maneuvers, I still say the S turn is more useful
Than
especially
a 3 turn?
especially the white S turn. Than
I would agree.
either of my 3 turns. Then.
I would agree with that. And then it does have the 4 straight.
4 straight.
4 straight white. And a 4K.
4K. I got a 4K.
And
So they got similar that way.
So similar that way. So their S turn, I think, puts their dial, and they had more green maneuvers.
The S turn makes them more competitive in the current meta, because if you don't have strange maneuvers on big ships, you can't pull off the cool maneuvers, right?
Yeah. And I didn't even barrel roll once in that fight, but I wanted my focus.
Yeah.
Right, so I wasn't sacrificing that. So even there, I would say the Jumpmaster dial is significantly better.
Well, and then
because of the more greens.
Yep. The more greens, the more interesting different maneuvers you can do.
And S turns.
The S turns.
A white S turn on a huge ship, or on a large ship, that's awesome.
And then you get into the loadout, the rest of the loadout.
Yeah.
And so your total loadout on here was still, I think, more than this guy.
So let's say, okay, let's put 5 points on him.
Just 5 points.
5 points. We're gonna do the R4 Agromech.
R4 Agromech.
And the Recon Spec.
And then Plasma Torpedo.
Well, that pushes him.
No, that's
just
enough right
that
there.
is 30 points right there. So 30 points for a level 3 pilot.
Yeah.
With basically the same stat block, 1 less shield. Which, okay. Much better dial, as we pointed out.
Yep.
And I now get 2 focus when I take a focus, and I can spend a focus at any time to target lock.
To get your target lock. Yeah. Wow. That is a great synergy there.
And so it just works
so that
so well for ordnance
30
builds,
points
right?
now?
Or even on its own, just on its own with a turret, it makes
that
it tough.
there puts them at the same cost as that.
That is the same cost.
That's ridiculous.
So how is that fair? How is that fair?
This is gonna be a little weird. You're coming with me for a ride, everybody. I'm gonna do this. And...
That's crazy.
All right, so that the Wild Space Fringer alone is the same point cost as the contracted scout with a
Recon.
droid and crew.
Yeah.
Which that's a pretty solid combo right there. Very hard mid game, and then you add 5 more points. I had 9 points on mine.
Yeah, pilot skill higher.
Ugh. I had Tactician and Heavy Laser Cannon on mine, and yeah.
Well, I mean, Tactician worked awesome actually.
When it triggered.
When it triggered almost every time. Every time you're shooting, it was at range 2. It was like, ugh. God damn.
Let that be a lesson. Tactician is awesome, but he is very situational. Be sure you have positioning.
Yeah. Gotta fly him like a fighter then.
Yep.
Gotta do K turns and just
Yep.
worry about...
I thought he'd be good support. His pilot skill's too low. I need him to move first, you know?
He's done all your damage, though, on all your duels.
Him and the Y-Wing. This little brave
Eden-
little Y-Wing.
Eden does good if there's stress on the table, right?
Yep. If I can keep these guys back, and Aiden can be like, "Stop! Stop, bro!" and like block in your face, then these guys dish some stress, and Aiden just soaks that up and is like, "Sweet, have some more hurt."
So, we've already established pound for pound the Jumpmaster. How many points was
Aiden was 33.
33? So I
33
mean,
points were for Eaden Vrill with intelligence 8.
yeah. So 1, 5, another 5 points. So 35-point build on. Oh no, 37 point. 37 point. Okay.
37. Okay.
So let's see.
So wait a minute.
What was your
That
build?
was 37 points?
What was your build?
That was 39. So you see
Okay.
the Wild Space Fringer with the heavy laser cannon and Tactician. That's 39 points. And I thought points well spent. It seemed like good math on paper. And then you get, oh Jesus, I can't even fit all the cards in, man. Alright, tell me what's on there. I can't read it.
Okay, Recon Spec as a crew.
Yeah.
R4 Agromech as a freaking droid.
Yeah.
Droid on a large ship. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, since it's got 2 torpedo slots, I did the extra munitions with Proton Torpedoes,
Yeah.
Deadeye,
Yeah.
and guidance chips.
Yeah.
So that added another 12 points. 12 points, so that's 37 points to the
That's
base build. So that was
quite ridiculous.
2 points cheaper than
Yep.
your build.
Yep.
2 points cheaper.
Than this. And I don't think I could have made this much better. I mean, if I put ordnance on it, I would have made
Wow.
one big hit that I really...
That doesn't seem fair. I mean,
I could do ordnance with some guidance chips, but what's worth putting on?
one missile.
One missile. I don't get the extra munitions.
Yeah, the proton missile, the one that you add your agility.
I'd love to have a droid
because
slot.
that's a focus to shoot it.
A droid
right?
slot on the Wild Space Fringer.
Oh, I know. Well, that's the other
on
thing
any of
too.
these
The
things.
combination with the droid
So
on the freaking.
what this leads me to believe is that
Crazy.
Aiden and the Wild Space Fringer were just sort of put in as filler to showcase Lebo and Dash. Because I think that's where this list would shine better. If I want to do dual 2400s again, I'm gonna put Dash in one, all decked out.
With the
You've only got
Outrider.
them decked out.
With the Outrider.
No,
No?
everyone's gonna get the Outrider to them.
No.
They're gonna be jousters with some solid backup to each other.
Okay.
Because if you put the Outrider on, that frees up 5 points, and it guarantees that no matter what, you're not gonna have a donut.
True. True. Well, it depends on what you're putting on you.
I mean, if you do Mangler Dash, that might work.
Yeah, Mangler does work solid on that.
Yeah, Mangler Dash is a pretty solid build, and if you back that up with Lebo and the HLC, who knows what sort of magic you can make, right?
Yeah.
So,
Put like Jan Ors on so that you can start taking some evades.
yep. Gunner, I think, on Lebo, because he shoots second. And it's like, sure, it's my last shot, so I'll do another 3 dice primary at you, and
Yeah, true at range.
or 2 dice or whatever.
Well, it's
I
good
don't
for
know.
it's good for range 1 shots too. If
I
that you
think
whiffle on, right?
What I've learned is that I need to learn how to fly this ship on its own, and then learn how to support it with the Y-Wing. I have some other ideas that will involve the Y-Wing later, but they're later. This list is going to be retired.
Yeah, it can't keep up with the current meta.
No,
It just can't compete with this list.
I can't deal enough.
I mean, the amount of damage I was able to deliver with those 3 ships focused on
Oh,
Eden.
he went down hard.
Hard. Oh my god. 2 torpedoes and cluster
And the
missiles
cluster missile.
from N'dru with his abilities kicking off
Yep.
was devastating. I mean, N'dru
Absolutely.
did 6 points of damage.
Absolutely devastating.
Somehow, either shields and I don't think he crit. He got a hit.
He stripped
shields.
him to 4. He stripped 4 off of him.
4.
There was still
right,
a shield,
4, not 6.
and then you dealt a bunch of crit. You dealt a ton of crits in the first big torpedo.
Yeah, that was
It
Manaroo.
Manaroo just was, and the
Manaroo hurt you.
And I think he had. I'll have to watch the replay. I think it was 3 or 4 crits applied to him at some point. I think it was 3 total, actually. And you tried, man. Eaden, you gave your best, but I just didn't do it.
He got pummeled by ordnance in the first.
Absolutely.
On the first
Absolutely.
attack. That's the first time I've seen a large ship go down in one round from 3 ships.
Oh, not me. I've seen some of the guys. You know who you are at Curious 2 using double toilet seats, and that first round I've watched big ships just completely wither.
Yeah.
So it was nice that N'dru was there to soften him up a bunch. that helped.
That sealed. That
significantly helped.
was to blow off your shields like that.
Oh yeah.
That
Stripped
hurt.
almost all of it.
Stripped
he
almost
did his
all.
job.
And you rolled decent on defense too.
No,
you
that's
got
why
like
you did 4.
what?
Oh no, because you
Yeah,
would have gotten
you-
total 6 hits, and I did
Yeah.
manage to get at least 2 dodges, I think.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
I'll have to watch the replay. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't mind being told wrong.
Yeah, I think you did okay on one of the rolls there on the crappily rolled missile.
Yep.
But still effective. I mean, he did the same amount of damage that it took to take him out.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. He got his ordnance off, and that also put a much more expensive ship than him in a vulnerable position.
Oh yeah.
And was able to.
Oh,
I mean, because of him, and it was either you go after N'dru, and you're taking all the hits from
And
the other
that
side,
honestly
or you
was
go.
my mistake. If I'd have just simply charged at your toilet seats, N'dru would have gone off, sure, but I don't think both of your toilet seats would have hit.
Yeah, see, I thought you were gonna do like a.
And I should have done what
A
my
4
initial...
straight or something, like, and totally blocked me up, like, holy crap, because then it's like impossible for me to get the torpedo shot.
I wasn't able to recover from that initial mistake. It was just too much of an overcommitment at the time, and I regretted it at least a turn later.
Yeah. I mean, if you had caused a bump somehow, but
Yeah.
maybe have just let N'dru go and go after the 2.
Yeah.
Get too close to both of them somehow, right? For them
Well,
to shoot.
it also makes me think: Do I need the Gray Squadron pilot in this list? Could I just kick this guy out and throw a couple more, spread a little more points out on this guy, and off a stupid Z95 in?
It's just, I mean, sure.
Now,
Which
I
Zed?
will come and revisit this list.
Do you like
I
Aaron Kraken or something?
think Blount.
Blount with the missiles that do a point of damage and 2 ion tokens.
Yeah.
If it hits.
Yeah. And he guarantees a hit all the time.
And he guarantees a
And
hit.
I'm thinking maybe Blount can start engineering some, I don't know, something.
Something, you know where he's going to be at least, right?
Yeah, in the end, honestly, I'm going to retire it. I'm going to put it away. I'm going to try something different. It's obvious that I just need to spend some time flying the YT-2400 on its own.
I think with
One ship and
Dash,
some backup.
with Dash and Lebo by themselves, maybe with a Z.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
maybe with a cheap Z as a blocker.
If I come back to the YT-2400, I'm going to come back to it with just a single YT-2400 decked out and with a bunch of backup. Because I think that is also where the Rebel strength lies, is partly numbers and partly teamwork synergies.
Yeah, where a lot of the Scum.
This was against itself, really. If these two had reversed pilot skills, it'd be great. Because he'd be shooting first with the HLC and dishing stress. And then Aiden would be like, sweet, you gave him some stress, beat. And I wouldn't have to have this guy hanging out, taking out 28 points.
28 points. I mean, he is effective when he causes the stress.
You make it
And he
27.
he does damage all the time, too. Like, you might not realize, but he is actually... He rolls. He's solid.
He's
like
solid.
on his initial pass, he really fucks people up.
He's been the ship that has performed the best out of all of us. Really is. The
So-
only one I could ever depend on, did everything I ever expected of him, was this
Once you
damn
figured
little
out how to
Y-Wing.
fly them,
Yeah.
you get your shots off with
Yeah.
them. You got to get your shots off with them.
So, yeah, I guess I'm going to be list shopping for the next little bit and trying out things here and there. Thursdays, I think I'm going to continue to fly my list du jour, which in this case is going to be, I think, Calf and the Trandoshan and the pair of Segment 5s. I think that has some potential, and I want to try that out some more. I think here on the stream, I'm going to fly all kinds of weird shit, because we're going to start doing some sort of themed
Yeah,
builds
well,
coming up,
so it's kind of like how we compared these two ships together and how their role is on each of their teams. It's a similar ship with a similar role, and we proved again. Unfortunately, the freaking Jumpmaster is by far the superior ship. Outclassed them again tonight.
Perfect example of power creep. I mean, I love this game. I'll buy this ship. Don't worry, Finest of Life. You made your point. I will buy this ship. But this is a perfect example of power creep in a tabletop or miniature or any other kind of game.
Yeah. If you do, you can borrow both these and run 3 against someone because they support each other quite well. In that respect.
3 of them stripped down is hard to deal with. That's a lot of hit points on the
There's
table.
a lot of hit points from maneuverable ships that can anti-arc.
Yeah. So what do you think we're gonna fly next week?
You know what?
We have a couple of different lists. I have you remember the Palp Swarm list that we were talking about?
We're recording.
Hi.
Hi. How's it going?
All right, so yeah, you have an Imperial Swarm with the
yeah. It's basically the typical Vader with another support ship of some sort. I've got a couple of ideas.
All right. Now, Vader pilot, you mean?
Yeah, Vader pilot.
Ooh, okay. And a bunch, like a swarm to back him then, or? Is this an Imperial Aces list that you're gonna throw at me, or?
Well, yeah, it's gonna be 2 aces, but the only problem is most of the Imperial ships are really squishy. They're like glass cannons.
Yeah, you need
And
numbers.
they
You need numbers.
and and I always fail at agility dice, so I try not to fly. I guess that's probably why I fly large ships more, because they have more survivability when you nerf when you're
less dice to betray.
yeah
you.
less dice to betray you. I tend to roll better with a 1 dice ship. They'll dodge everything.
All right, so I guess you'll see. You'll have to see what we play next week. So I think this is where we're gonna leave it off.
Yeah.
As you can see, this themed set of builds, the economy is very much favored in the new wave.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to see that for the next while to come. There's some talk of some buffs coming for X-Wings and for possibly for Y-Wings. That ARC 170 looks fun.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I mean,
the Rebels
obviously,
are getting a little bit of an injection.
Obviously, the TIE-FO and
Special
the
Forces?
Special Forces one.
The Special
Oh
Forces
my
is
God.
going to be the thing to see in the next wave. Personally, I'm
Kinda
more
like
excited about the Shadowcaster, with the mobile arc,
That's trippy.
and I think that's going to be interesting. I'm a sucker for the lore, and so seeing Sabine from Rebels and Asajj Ventress from the Clone Wars as pilots on these ships is, it gives me a big smile. I really like those characters, so it's good to see them getting a little representation in the game.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it all flies up. I mean, as we've proved, most of the older stuff just doesn't stack up at this point.
No, old meta. The only thing that's still hanging in there is that venerable Y-Wing, showing why, even though it was a Clone Wars beast, it still does its job.
Well, it's got a decent amount of upgrade slots. When you look at it, you can do a lot with it. It's really versatile. It does have a K turn.
Yep.
So it's not like horrible like a Hawk, right? It's got a better dial than a Hawk.
Yep.
So, but other than that, 1 agility, 8 health. That's a trade-off that a lot of people are willing to make with it, because they only need to stick around a few rounds, right?
Yep.
And they usually can.
Yep, they usually get through.
Couple of well-placed ordnance can take one out.
Oh, one defense dice says you're gonna die when I shoot big dice.
Yeah.
So hard. That's hard to overcome.
Yeah. No, once again, the toilet seats. We'll try something different. We'll see. We were thinking of maybe the E-Wings and the
the Star Viper.
Yeah, the Star Vipers.
So there's I think that'll be an interesting face-off. We got a number of different ships that we've been looking at. What is its role within its faction? Okay, what is its equivalent role in another faction? All right, let's try and face off those ships. Let's compare and contrast their point to effectiveness ratio.
Yeah, so I mean, we based it on what the ship's upgrades are kind of capable, their dial and their agility, power, the whole formula there. So it looks like the U-Wings kind of stack up against the Star Viper.
Yep.
For Rebel against Scum.
There's some interesting potential for some theme lists there. So you're going to see a lot more of that coming from us, and more of these analysis videos as well. We have opinions about this game because we love it so much. We're going to share them with you.
Yeah, even if you don't want to hear them, you can still watch them anyway.
Yeah, and you know what? If you don't like what we say, let us know in the comments that you don't like what we say, and we'll have an interesting discussion about it. I like the dialogue.
Yeah, so we'll see how the E-Wing stacks up against the Star Viper, because in my opinion, I think the E-Wing still holds its value with a couple of its pilots. A Tan
always.
A Tan I think is solid. Corrin has potential, but like anyone, they're kind of a one-trick pony. And it's not as if you're getting a free attack in the round like Dengar.
No.
Right?
So you had to remind me about that amazing.
Who is, by the way, guess what? On a toilet seat. Yes. I mean, sure, you can make one of these things ridiculous expensive with a primary of 3.
You can do the same thing with one of these, though.
Right. But I still think one of these is more economical. It would still outdance and outdamage.
All right. So we will see you. Those of you who come to join us down on Thursday at Curious 2, we'll see you down there. Otherwise, we will see you next Tuesday, starting our first round of new theme builds. We'll have something interesting for you.
Yeah. We'll fly similar ships to similar roles on the other faction, and we'll see which ones are more effective.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm gonna go shut off the stream.
See you later.